All right, welcome to Corn Brew Podcast. Rixe and I are here to finish our NBA playoff predictions. Last week, right?
Last week.
Last week we did the East. Not as exciting as the West. Just a quick recap of that. We did the Bucks, Pacers, Celtics, 76ers, Raptors, Nets, Heat, and Piston for our top 8. We left the Magic and the Hawks out of it. But last time we talked, the West is a lot more interesting than the East is.
One final note on the East, those Bucks at the top of the East got just that much better with adding Mr. Kyle Korver.
How happy were you that?
Oh, so happy.
Are you have to buy a Bucks jersey now?
I have to. I ain't going to. Kyle Korver, if you're listening, I love you.
Okay, real question. Kyle Korver and Doug McDermott.
Korver.
You have to. Okay. I was gonna go straight murder, not who's better.
Oh no, sorry, Doug. I love you in college, but you kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, he sucks. Okay,
not
sucks.
He's a little slower.
All right. What I don't get is how Doug McDermott got a chance in the NBA, but Jimmy Fredette didn't. I think it's different eras though.
Yeah.
Because shooting's big now.
Yeah.
And when Jimmer came in, it was still big, but it wasn't like.
Jimmer left the Warriors. He could have had a chance. Who knows how that would have turned out, but he left the Warriors.
I don't think he was playing much.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I think he might just love China.
He didn't go to China. He went to Greece. He's on the Greece team now.
What? He
Yeah.
left Shanghai?
Yeah.
He's like a god there.
He was.
I loved him there.
I don't know why he would leave. He could have been. Stephon Marbury is not going to be around too much longer. He could have been the next Marbury.
Exactly. Oh, well. All right.
He messed up. Yeah, let's not talk about the China Basketball Association. All right, so right now we're going to go ahead and talk about the West NBA playoffs. And like we said already, it's a lot more difficult to figure out than the East. But because on the East, when we talked about it, we eliminated like 5 teams right away. We got rid of the Wizards. We got rid of I'm trying to think off the top of my head. We got rid of the Wizards, Bulls, Cavs, Knicks. We also got rid of the Hornets, because they lost Kemba. The West is not like that at all. So as we look at this, what team stood out to you right away we can just get rid of?
Teams that stood out was Memphis Grizzlies.
Yep.
Losing Mike Conley.
Yep.
He's a kind of big guy. And
Gasol last year.
Yeah.
They traded him away.
Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of an easy cut.
They got their rookie more. I should know his name. They got their rookie, but it's not like he's going to make a huge like the Morant. They got Morant number 2 pick, but he's not going to make a huge come to the playoffs.
Good building structure for him, but next year not going to impact the West.
No.
Timberwolves cut off.
Yep. I think the one thing that could make the Timberwolves get there, and they were rumored to be very interested in Russell Westbrook. I'm concussed.
No, not Russell Westbrook. D'Angelo Russell.
No, and Westbrook.
The Rockets are trading.
No, like before he traded for the Rockets.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were not Russell. I really might be concussed. They wanted D'Angelo Russell. And I guess it was just after the meeting with the Timberwolves that he found out, like the Warriors want me. So he did that sign and trade. And then they were interested in Westbrook, but then the Rockets obviously paid a king's ransom for that. There's rumors, and not even so much rumors, just a lot of people are saying they should be interested in Chris Paul because they're saying that he could be the guy to kind of unlock Cat and kind of help that team out. But I think unless they make a trade for like a Chris Paul or somebody, they're definitely not making the playoffs.
Yeah. And then Suns.
No. Suns are definitely out. Their big signing was Ricky Rubio, so they finally have a point guard. But
I saw today that they asked NBA executives and they voted for worst moves of the offseason.
Yeah.
The Knicks and Phoenix, the Knicks offseason in whole was tied with Ricky Rubio signing with the Phoenix Suns for two worst moves.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense because They trade away Josh Jackson, which he didn't really turn out there, so it makes sense they got rid of him, but they kind of gave him away for nothing. They traded away TJ Warren again for nothing, and he was their second leading scorer behind Devin Booker. So again, they just got rid of their scoring. They finally have a point guard, like we said, but they brought in Frank Kaminsky, who is again going to do nothing for him. They traded for Dario Saric, so like that's a stretch 4. They got Ayton as their center, so that's good. But besides that, they're really relying on. For some reason, they love Kelly Oubre, which doesn't make sense because they signed him for another contract. I don't know. So they have, I guess, their young core in Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. But Booker's young. He's only 23. But he still hasn't really proved that he can he can be the best guy on a winning team. I guess he's 22, yeah, but it just doesn't make – I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I don't think they'll – last year they had 19 wins.
They'll get to 27.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't get that much
30,
better.
Like 32-ish?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll have a little bit more to cheer for next season, but not compete in that loaded West.
Yeah, and I guess I'm thinking now, I was going to say for a team that has a really talented center, like DeAndre Ayton is going to be a good center. He's an old school center. He's not going to stretch the floor. So they added Kaminsky, which will give him stretch. He'll stretch the floor a little bit. Saric will stretch the floor a little bit. Rubio will not. He sucks at shooting. But I guess it doesn't make sense to me. TJ Warren was a shooter. They got rid of him. And then Korver, I guess they got rid of Korver because he probably didn't want to play for a rebuilding team. You know what I mean? He probably wanted a championship team.
Exactly.
They did that out of respect, but he would have been a good piece for a team that needed to stretch the floor.
Kind of getting up there in age, and
he
wants to help. He wants to help the team contend for a championship.
Yeah,
I mean, most guys want that.
Yeah,
especially those vets. They love contending. I mean, you saw Rondo and DeMarcus Cousins once again take pay cuts.
Yep.
Because even contending teams.
Wesley Matthews, the Bucks now are finally, for the first time in my 26 years of living, a place that people will take pay cuts to play.
Yeah.
Korver, pay cut. He could have got more somewhere else. Wesley Matthews, pay cut. If they sign J.R. Smith, they'll have to be a pay cut because he's going to be a veteran minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Gasol was willing to take a veteran minimum to stay there.
George
Hill literally went from $18 million a year down to $9 million a year. Like, he took half the pay.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Paul Gasol signed today.
Yeah, I saw that with the Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about them in a little bit because I think they're a team to watch.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Suns out, Grizzlies out, Timberwolves, unless they make a big trade we don't see coming out. And now we get to the interesting teams, ones that we really don't know if they're going to make it or not. We both have different opinions on this. Let's go ahead and start with the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, they're a hard team not to talk about because of their offseason and basically swapped out their entire team.
Yep.
But as looking at the standings, I don't know what team they're going to replace in the playoffs. So it's hard to even go off of their stats from last year because everyone's brand new to the team and in different roles. But you gotta be excited if you're a Pelicans fan.
Yeah, you have to be because I'm looking right now, and right now I brought up the the rankings for 2017-2018 season and just where everyone fell. The Lakers were a 35-win team. And that's before they got LeBron James. So with that core that now the Pelicans have of Lonzo Ball, Ingram, they got Josh Hart. Like, this team won 35 games, and now you're bringing them to the Pelicans where they have the number 1 pick overall last year, Zion Williams, Zion, however you're supposed to say his name. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous. Zion might be. That's a topic for another time. People aren't going to like that, but I'm nervous he's going to fall down the bust lane if he doesn't stop being fat. But I don't know. I just don't – I'm just looking at their roster right now, and they're a solid team. They have Jahlil Okafor as a backup. The biggest pickup, and I know you love this, is J.J. Redick.
Yeah, veteran presence, excellent shooter.
Yep.
I mean, that's just so smart of them to go out and get that guy to kind of help bridge the gap and also give Drew Holiday a buddy hang out with.
Yeah, so it's not all
young guy,
12
Drew
year olds.
Holiday and the 12-year-old.
So right now I'm looking at their line, or looking at the team, which I know you are too. So like if we put together a starting lineup, Lonzo at the 1, Drew at, but that's
all right. So go ESPN.
Yeah, no, good.
Chart.
Yep.
Lonzo Ball is sitting on the bench.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The bench because obviously, even I thought this was one of the smart things too. Is the Pelicans GM went on and said, "Hey, this is Drew's team.
Yeah,
this is our guy. He's our veteran. We're going to build around him. He's not going anywhere."
Yeah.
And so to think that Lonzo Ball is going to start over him is ludicrous.
Yeah. I was actually thinking maybe, but then there's no way JJ can play the 3. No. So I was thinking that in a weird world, having Lonzo at the 1, I'm sure they'll do lineups with Ball at the 1, Holiday at the 2, whatever, just to get a couple guards on there. But it's a good, like, even looking at their bench, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Jahlil Okafor, their center over there. Like, there's talent on this team.
Jahlil Okafor, was he number 2 overall pick?
I think 3 or 4.
Yeah, high, top 5 though.
Oh yeah, top 5 for sure.
And coming off the bench.
Zion again. Like Zion does have the ability to be a superstar. I just think, and everyone said this isn't like a hot take from us. Like you even saw him too at Summer League. Like he looked like a big boy.
Oh yeah,
he was big. Thick.
Second heaviest guy in the NBA right now.
Really?
Yep.
And for an athlete like, especially one that's so explosive, and we look at other explosive athletes like Blake Griffin, he has so many knee problems, and he was in way better shape than Zion was. It's like he's going to have to bring that down.
He's going to have to find a way. I watched his one summer game. It was very short.
Yeah.
Before they kind of pulled him.
Yeah.
But all his points are at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you nervous?
It does for me.
Yeah, I would be a little bit nervous if he's big. It's going to be a different game in NBA than what the summer league is. But having all those points at the rim, I'm like, that's what DeAndre Jordan did.
Yep.
And Blake Griffin. I mean, early in his year, all he had to do was run. Like I'd even play with him in 2K.
Yeah.
You should start running. You go for a dunk and game over. Like, you could just dunk all day with everyone.
No, absolutely. And what doesn't, I don't know, but Blake Griffin too now has like a decent 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Like he can shoot now. So if Zion wants to stay, it's a league where you have to shoot. So like regardless of how big and powerful you are, no matter what, eventually in your career that's going to go away, and you need to just adapt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he should start now, save himself some injuries.
Exactly. It's an impressive lineup for the future, but I think next year being a learning curve for all these guys playing together.
Yeah.
I don't think they can make the playoffs. If East, they could be
in the East, they'd make the playoffs.
Playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even a top 5 team. But
I think they'd challenge the Heat and Pistons for 7 and 8.
Yeah.
I just still don't. This team now, I guess I could see them beating the Nets.
Oh,
they're super athletic.
Raptors too, maybe.
Yeah, it's all matchups though.
Yeah, all matchups. But those are Pelicans.
So we can cross the Pelicans off of playoffs. Yeah. I agree.
Interesting for the NBA. A lot of people will be talking about them, but if I had a guess, and you can agree or disagree for like how they rank, I put them as this year or last year's Kings and Lakers, like the 9-10 spot. They don't make the playoffs, but they get close enough to make the fans excited. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's go. You have it up on the screen now, and a team that we're a little different on, and a team that was exciting last year, but are going to get a lot more exciting this year, are the Sacramento Kings. So, what do you think? You think the Kings? I think we differ on this. Yes. You think the Kings are a playoff team?
I do not.
You don't think they are?
I think because me and you were talking with what team is going to fill out that 8th spot.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of lean more towards the Kings, where I went more with Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll let you kind of take it over with the Kings and tell me why you think they're going to do it.
All right. So my thing is, last year they were the 9th seed. They had, which granted the 9th seed was a far behind the 8th. So The Clippers were the 8th seed with 48 wins. The Kings were the 9th seed with 39 wins. So they were 9 wins behind them. But I just think the team, they're so talented, and they kept everybody they needed to. So they have De'Aaron Fox, who's a ridiculously good point guard. I honestly think he's going to be an all-star next year. He did really well last year. They got Corey Joseph. He's a solid backup. And my big thing is Buddy Hield really stepped up last year. They brought in a veteran like Trevor Ariza, who we've seen on winning teams is a really good 3-and-D player. The one thing that I think is going to be tough is where do you put him on an already crowded, like a crowded 3. He can play the 3 and the 4. Sometimes he'll play the 2 like ESPN has him, but he's not a starter. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure he's okay with that. Harry Giles he's young. He had that knee injury at Duke. They got him as a steal in the draft. Like, he fell pretty low. There's just a lot of pieces that if even just 1 or 2 of them really step up, it's easy for them to really make the next step. They got Dedmon. He's a good center. They lost Cauley Stein, but he's another one. He can't shoot for anything to save his life. So
Marvin Bagley the third.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming off his rookie season, and I mean, players should only get better as time goes on, and so it's going to be tough.
Yeah, because even looking at this team right now, like, so Marvin Bagley, like you said, Harrison Barnes, he's not what people expected him to be when he left the Warriors, but he's still a really solid player. Mm-hmm. Bogdanovich, Yogi Ferrell's a decent backup. Harry Giles, however you say his name. DeAndre Fox, not De'Aaron. Wait, no. Yeah, this website has it wrong. De'Aaron Fox. Last year he stepped up, and I only see that going up more. Like, he's ridiculously athletic. He's like he's really fast, and he makes smart decisions. I honestly, I'm not comparing him to John Wall right now, obviously, but I think he can have the career that John Wall was supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, led their team in assists with 7 a game.
Yep.
Steals, almost 2 average. So.
Yeah, 17 points. Like, and he doesn't need to be the leading scorer. No. Bagley in his second year is naturally going to move forward. Buddy Hield finally was the Buddy Hield people expected last year. Yeah. I don't know. I just think they made the additions.
Yeah, I mean, Marvin Bagley played average 25 minutes a game.
Yeah,
average almost 15 points a game.
Yeah, and that's playing time. Playing time should go up.
Yeah, because leading player for playing time was Buddy Hield and Fox with about 31-ish. Yeah, 32, something like that.
Yeah, which is interesting. Oh no, that right there, Harrison Barnes had 34.
Oh yeah, 34. He him the most on the team.
But putting Bagley and Barnes on the court at the same time really can cause trouble for the other teams because they're 2 big bodies. They're both really athletic. They can cause problems for the defense. But the thing is, though, like, they're going to have to work out some lineup issues and get used to some. Trevor Ariza is an interesting pickup because he's a veteran, and you'd think he'd want to play a little bit more because he has some more to give. But I don't know. He's on the Ben McLemore right now. He's on the Rockets right now.
Oh, yeah. I was looking where he went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, because he would have been good on this team too, but they moved on from him.
For sure. That's a live guard play.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think. All right. So what's your case for the Mavericks? Why do you think the Mavericks are making it?
I don't know if I just like Luka.
Yeah.
But I think what he can do and pairing him with Porzingis is going to be interesting to watch to see how those two work together. Porzingis is finally going to have some decent pieces around him and another kind of star. I mean, Luka is so 19 last year.
He's good, dude. He's young because he's been playing professional ball since he was 16, man.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
20 years old. He's 20 years old and played like he was an all-star last year.
Yep.
He plays like a grown man.
Did he make the all-star team last year?
Or was that the Rising Stars game?
Probably Rising Stars, yeah.
So, Rising Stars game. Well, just having him there, and I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. Maybe I'm just overestimating it.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Cuban. But Cuban even came out and said, like, that he made a mistake not keeping Nowitzki and Nash together longer.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to make that same mistake. So he's going to do that with Luka and Porzingis.
Yeah.
And he's actually going to try to build that team around him and make it work. So I think having that owner there, and these two guys with some other pieces, I think they could challenge for that playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. He's no slouch. He's solid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think adding Seth Curry, if he's playing like he played versus the Warriors in the playoffs, I mean, that was the last time we saw him on the court.
Yeah.
He really stepped up for those Blazers, and the only reason they were in a lot of those games, he had some very good minutes.
He's a solid bench player for sure.
Yeah.
I think he could be a 6th man of the year candidate if he fits the qualifications.
Yeah.
The only thing that what makes me nervous for them is I think they need a better partner for Luka. Like they have DeLon Wright. Well, I mean for point guard, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So if Luka's going to play the 2 or even the 1, I think they need a better Seth Curry will be good at times, but I think they need a better, more solidified. One person I want them to pick, would be nice for them to pick up is Iman Shumpert. He wouldn't be a starter for him, but he could, even if he was a starter that played 20 minutes a game, but he started off with Luka, gave him a defensive player that can really push the pace. He can guard anybody. And that way Luka doesn't have to expend so much energy on defense. But I see the point with the Mavericks. I just don't think they match up well. If we compare roster to roster.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's kind of it's a regular season.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in the regular season? In playoffs, I don't think they could beat a team in a 7-game series. They're going to be more of that regular season team. How do they do? How they stack up? But it might be the case where they become – because last year they had 33 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think Porzingis puts them at 40.
Yeah.
But last year, 40 did not make the playoffs.
Exactly. And that's the thing right now.
But it's one game ahead of the last year's Kings. And that's the kind of thing is we're talking about West versus East. And that's the huge difference is 40 wins does not get you in the playoffs. And none of the other playoff teams besides Oklahoma City are an easy one to kind of kick out.
Yeah. The other one would be, we'll mention a little bit. There's another team that we think might be on the cusp. But their 8 is still solid as hell.
Yeah.
And that's with the Kings too though, so we're hoping that Luka and Porzingis can play well together, which all the signs point to they can.
Yeah.
And they have 2 big stars, but when you look at Sacramento's bench or Sacramento's team overall, they have a better overall depth of the team. Yeah. And they got better they're solid. Porzingis and Luka will be better bigger stars than anybody on the Kings. But with De'Aaron, Bagley, Barnes, Giles, and then even Ariza on the team, that's a solid. I just think overall the team's better. But I agree that if we look down the road 3 years from now, I think the Mavericks will be.
All right. How about this? So we'll give your Kings 8 spot because it kind of just makes most sense for next year. But Pelicans or Mavericks, who's going to finish the regular season better off?
That's a tough question. Oh, damn. I think last year they were evenly matched. The Pelicans lost Anthony Davis, but even last year they didn't really play with him. So they're adding Lonzo, Ingram, Zion. I think Pelicans.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I want to say Mavericks. I don't know. Something about it. I always loved Dirk. I always thought but it's just something I think they'll find a way to be.
They have a better coach.
Yeah.
They have better, Luka. More
potential than anyone on the Pelicans.
Yeah, minus Zion. But right now, Luka's already proved.
Yeah.
He's going into his second year more than his compared to his first.
Easy hands down for Player of the Year last year, averaging.
What was it? 17?
22? Or Jeez. No, just under 21 something. Slowly.
Yeah, 21.2.
Yeah, 21.2 points a game and rebounds 7.8.
Yeah.
Assists, he led the team. Steals, he led the team.
Yeah. He led him in everything but blocks.
Yeah, exactly. Adding Porzingis, but that's we're assuming Porzingis is going to come back
healthy,
no problems.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Porzingis with the Knicks. I mean, he was killing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So healthy Porzingis, healthy Luka.
The only thing is, then you just have to look at like depth, though. That's the only thing that's making me knock the Mavericks out is literally depth.
But in the regular season, that doesn't always matter.
That's true.
Well,
I'd say in the playoffs it doesn't matter as much. In the playoffs, I don't think depth, because in the regular season you go 10 deep sometimes. Playoffs you go like 7.
True. Yeah, it's a tough one.
I think they'll be evenly matched. The only reason that's making me think Pelicans is because it's Lonzo, Ingram, Josh Hart off the bench, Drew Holiday, and JJ. Like, I think they have more veterans or better veterans than the Mavs do.
Yeah.
I just think the Mavs are like a piece away.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys like Shumpert still out there.
Yeah.
Or
and he's
Pablo Cephalosha. I think he's going to go more of a contender. Both those guys are.
Yeah.
But they're out there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I just think they need to pair up. I don't want them to have like a trio. Like they don't need a Heat team, but they need another solid starter at like the 1 or the 2. I wouldn't mind seeing Chris Paul on this team.
Kyle
Howard, yeah, he'd be a good one. This is his contract year. They could sign him next year.
Well, I mean, even if it's a trade and sign it like they did with Porzingis.
Yeah. Who they get rid of then? That's the only thing.
Oh, I guess they don't have much to trade anymore.
No. They'd have to just wait till next year
unless their draft picks. I don't know what their draft pick situation is.
Yeah, but it's tough because you don't want to give up a draft pick because they don't have a realistic chance at the finals. So you might as well just wait and sign them.
Yeah, true. All right. Team to watch.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and.
So are we writing in the Kings at number 8? Did we just establish that?
I think so. I don't think the Thunder. So people are thinking the Thunder might be pretty competitive. I personally don't think that. I think they'll have some games. I guess I shouldn't say competitive. They'll be competitive. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think the Kings would beat them. They got SGA. He's he's really talented. He's coming into his second year. Chris Paul is always a good leader. Gallinari, he averaged almost 20 points a game last year, or he did average 20 points. Steven Adams, again, very solid. You look at their bench, Dennis Schroeder. They got Nerlens Noel, who's a solid center. He's athletic. But it's just, again, I think the Kings just have too much depth for him. They got Terrence Ferguson, Andre Roberson, still just a hell of a defender. They'll be a fun team to watch, but I don't think Chris Paul is going to play as much as people think, or even be on this team when the season starts. So I think right now for me, it's between the Thunder and the Kings for the 8th spot.
Yeah, I mean the team last year they have to grow a lot as a team because the guys left. They didn't touch. I mean, they weren't that key role. You know, people always complain how big a ball hog Westbrook is. Yep. And then you have Paul George on the team. Paul George averaged 28 points a game. Yeah. And they take a lot of times, a lot of shots. Now, those two guys are gone. And now these other guys who were on the team last year, they're going to have to step up more or give them more of an opportunity. They might shine. They might flop. Yeah. It's kind of like the Pelicans. You're going to have to wait and see because it is. Yeah, a brand new team because Westbrook and Paul George were such a big part of that offense. What's going to be interesting is there's that whole Russell Westbrook theory on when players leave him, they do better. So you had Oladipo went off. Mm-hmm. Sabonis, he went off when he went with. Now he's a solid player for the Pacers. And even just players like Durant's good no matter where he goes. James Harden left that situation, and now he's a superstar. And he can make an argument he wouldn't have been if he stayed there. Like, he was good, but he definitely kept him in the box a little bit. So I'm wondering about players because with the key departures, George, Westbrook, and Jeremy Grant, that's
That's like 60 points a game that they're losing.
Is Schroeder still on the?
Schroeder's still on there.
Okay.
Yep.
Because like field goals attempted per game, Paul George is at 21. Russell Westbrook's at 20.
And then Jeremy Grant's at 10.
Yep.
And they lost. That's 50 shots that they lost.
Yep. And now it goes to Schroeder is at 14. Steven Adams 10. Which is a huge drop off between everyone else. It's those two guys are 10. Ferguson was at 5.
Yeah. And
Marquise Morris is gone, and he took up 6.
Yeah. There's shots to go around.
Yeah.
Chris Paul will definitely get some of them. SGA will probably get most of them because I think he's the best player that they brought in.
Yeah.
And
Gallinari's good role player.
Yep. And
he knows what to do.
He'll shoot the ball. Like can you bring his up real quick? He averaged like 20 points a game last year. Like he's talented. So like they'll find people to take the shots. Like that's not going to be the problem. But I don't know. I just don't think they have enough to really compete for the A spot. So yeah, he averaged 19.8 points a game, which is crazy.
Yeah, Gallinari 13 shots a game he averaged. So
yeah, it's crazy to me that their best, like Lou Williams, a bench player, was so pivotal for him. Well, he's good. Like he's a hell of a player.
SGA averaged 8 shots a game for him.
Man, I got some in my throat.
How many minutes did he average for him last year? Averaged about 26.
Yeah.
So solid.
Good. So see, they still have Patrick Beverly. I'm worried about the Clippers now. But yeah, no, I'm thinking of the Thunder. So yeah, they have a solid team. I don't like if I had to think this team or the Kings, I'd probably pick the Kings at this point.
Yeah. I think these guys might be able to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, how many draft picks they have future? They have a good future ahead of them, especially if they keep SGA and some of these other guys. Ferguson and.
All right, so yeah, I put Kings at the 8th seed and right under them I put Thunder.
Yeah,
you go with that?
I'm happy with that.
All right, let's go to the next one. Last year, the 8th seed were the Clippers. We'll get to them later. They're not going to be that low on the list.
No.
The team that I want to talk about now for the 7th seed was actually so one main team. Where it's going to be San Antonio Spurs, which I can't believe. So last year, them being the 7th seed was kind of a big drop off. And I don't they didn't get better.
No, they what did they do?
They lost Marcus Morris to the Knicks. They had him signed. They have DeRozan still, but like we saw his ceiling. Like he's not gonna get better. They got DeMar Carroll from a trade, he's a solid role player, 3-and-D, and Trey Lyles. But
they lost Davis Bertans. Do you know him? I don't know who David Bertans is. Or Davis. Okay, so they literally did not lose anyone.
Many players.
It's basically they're running back the same squad with the addition of DeMar Carroll,
3-and-D,
and Trey Lyles,
who's an athletic big. But when you put him on honestly, their best weapon that they have is Greg Popovich.
Oh gosh,
that's it. Like he's a super genius. They just brought Tim Duncan onto the staff, so like obviously he has knowledge to give to the game. But at the end of the day, I think they're just really counting on they have their veterans. They have DeRozan, Aldridge, Rudy Gay still somehow doing well. They got Dejounte Murray or DeJounte, whatever. Lonnie Walker had a really good summer league, but we see that summer league doesn't always translate to the NBA season.
He was voted MVP, I think. No, or was legal. All right, he was one of the things I listed for summer league.
Yeah,
MVP or one of the top 5.
Yeah, he did really well. The only thing is sometimes you look at summer league MVPs, like Tyus Jones was summer league MVP, and that didn't you know what I mean? Yeah, like sometimes it does well, but other times it doesn't really mean shit.
But I mean, it has to be a good sign.
Yeah, it's signing in the right direction.
It's signing right way.
Because they also a former Spur that was MVP at one point was Kyle Anderson, and now he's not even on the team anymore. Oh, he's with the Grizzlies.
Had such high hopes for him,
and he didn't do. He just didn't pan out. But so yeah, they got Patty Mills. I don't think they did anything to improve like drastically, but I don't think they did anything. I don't think any team improved enough to surpass them.
No, yeah, I think with the group of Rosen, Gay, Aldridge, if they play like they did last year, the Kings don't catch them. The Thunder, everyone else dropped off.
Yep.
So I think that's where they're going to stay kind of where they are. Carroll is a great
bench player
coming off the bench, and
maybe Pirtle is still.
Yeah,
he was a first-round pick. Lonnie Walker, first-round pick. Murray did well. Derek White really showed up in the playoffs. We'll have to see what happens. Like, I just don't, like I said already, like, I just don't think they improved enough to jump up past the 7th spot, especially with how well everybody else in the West did.
He's a weird-looking dude.
Yeah, he looks like from Men in Black.
Derek White for sure. Sorry, Derek.
All right.
But, it basically was DeMar Rosen and Aldridge show last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll see what happens again.
So I'm gonna put the Spurs in at 7.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so then we have next. So the 6th seed last year is the Thunder. We already took them out. We have the Spurs at 7. So right now the 6th seed. Who do you think fills in that 6th spot? I'm with you on that one. So who do you have?
The Golden State Warriors.
Golden State Warriors. I'm 100% with you. Obviously, they lost Kevin Durant. Yeah. They lost Klay Thompson for most of the year with an injury.
I don't think he's coming back.
I think he'll come. Like, I think if they're I think if they are the 6th seed and he can come back like a month before the playoffs, I think he does.
But he has to come back before the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or else, I mean, you can't take that much time off of basketball.
Yeah.
And come back to playoffs where it's such a high intensity. These are the best guys in the world.
Yeah.
Fighting for the championship.
Yeah.
You're looking at
Steph Curry is going to get his ass beat, dude.
Oh.
They're going to be so rough on him. They're going to be ruthless.
Yeah. Steph Curry, when it's him by himself, and he's going to be by himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Draymond is a perfect role player. But he's not going to carry a team offensively.
No.
He does all those little things excellent.
Yeah.
Like, he does all those little things. And now Steph Curry, they're going to force D'Angelo Russell to beat him.
Yeah.
We don't even know how Steph Curry and D'Angelo Russell could work
They're
together.
not. He's different. Like, Klay Thompson, he can score 30 points a game taking 4 dribbles.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell cannot do that. No. He needs the ball in his hand.
No. I mean, you can't. Looking at their depth chart on ESPN, point guard, Steph Curry.
Yep.
And
nobody else. Jordan Poole can play it, but again, he's someone that just shoots too much. You saw that in the summer league. He forces it, and that's a Milwaukee guy, so I hate saying that, but he forces it. Alec Burke is a solid. They had high hopes for him at Utah when he was there, but he didn't really pan out. He's a solid role player, but again, just what they lost with Andre Iguodala, Kevin Durant, they lost Sean Livingston, Alonzo McKinney. He played for them solid minutes in the playoffs last year with injuries, but at the end of the day,
he didn't do much.
No, he didn't do much. They lost Quinn Cook to the Lakers, who he's going to be he's a guy. They played him important minutes. Like, he was a vet. He should have been brought on this team. For a group that lost so many people, you have someone who played in the finals. Like, why let him
that
walk?
Did not make sense that they let him go. I mean, Cauley Stein, he's not stretching your full.
No, God, no.
He's a glorified Kevin Looney.
Yeah, and I'd even rather have Kevin Looney. Like, you saw one thing that I give him credit for, and the Warriors, is they kept him on a $5 million a year contract, which is really impressive. But that man played in the NBA Finals with a cracked collarbone.
Yeah, that's he stepped up. He did excellent form. It just, you looking at this and you are okay, we are saying the Mavericks don't have depth.
Yeah.
If there was a guy named Stephen Curry, we would not even consider these guys at all.
No, absolutely not.
That guy can shoot from anywhere.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he's still. There's been talk that they could even miss the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
One injury away.
I guess this is the team too that I guess the Spurs could overtake.
Yes, I could really see it.
So I could interchange 6 and 7 and be okay with it.
But out of respect for Curry.
Yeah,
because Curry is still good.
Yeah,
organization is good. D'Angelo Russell is no joke.
No, and Steve Kerr is top 3 coach in the NBA.
Yeah, so I think 6 is a good spot, but they are not the same Spurs. And this would be a whole different talk if Klay Thompson was healthy.
Yeah, I'd put them I'd put them higher, not 1 or 2 seed, but higher.
Mm-hmm.
One thing though, like before we move on from that, like you said, D'Angelo Russell's no joke. We've never seen him play with a player like Steph Curry.
Yeah,
like he's been the focus point on every team he's been on. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when he's the second guy to worry about.
How do they gel together?
Yeah, because maybe he does have a break. Maybe he does better as a role player than everyone expects.
Yeah, and it's got to be tough where he doesn't really know his future. Maybe he knows, but all the talks are that
he might get traded. They might keep him
before the deadline. And
yeah, or they might just have him for 1 year. Klay Thompson comes back and they get rid of him next year.
Yeah,
but could you imagine?
Draymond could be gone next year too.
Yeah, could you imagine though? Like if there was a scenario where it was Steph Curry, D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, and Draymond on the floor, like that's not a bad.
You're happy.
That's a playoff team.
Yeah, but it's just the depth last year was not that great for the Warriors, and now this year it's even worse.
Yeah.
So because now you have McKinney in your starting lineup.
Yeah.
And McKinney wasn't even the best off the bench.
Yeah.
I thought Quentin Cooks
Yeah.
was your best option off the bench, and they let him go to the Lakers. So.
What really annoys the shit out of me is when people are saying, well, Steph Curry, Draymond, when Klay Thompson comes back, like they were in the finals. But the thing is, that's 5 years ago. Like when that core went to the finals, that's years ago.
And they knew they couldn't compete with LeBron anymore, so they went and got Durant.
Yeah.
At that time, LeBron and his group was better than the Warriors, and they knew it.
And that's why
Durant. They went. If they knew that they were so good, they would not pursue Durant as hard as they did.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew it's better to have Durant on my team than not.
Yeah.
And I thought if Durant stayed with Oklahoma City with adding Oladipo that year, they would have beat the Warriors in the playoffs.
I think
easily.
So too.
Because Klay Thompson killed them. They almost beat him that year.
Yep.
Klay Thompson
saved
killed
them.
Oladipo was kind of brought in to guard Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
And to kind of help with that, and all of a sudden KD left. But I think the Warriors were nervous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They knew they needed somebody.
Yeah.
They just blew a 3-1 lead to LeBron.
Yeah. And saw what the Raptors did to him with Lowry, Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
Come on, Kawhi. I mean, Kawhi was a huge part of that, but those Warriors, their dynasty, it's kind of gone. It's now they're going to have to compete and fight for it.
So looking at the next spot, so we have 8. We have Kings, 7 Spurs, Warriors 6, and now we get to the 5th spot, which is now it starts to get really tricky because the teams we have left are the Jazz, Rockets, Trailblazers, Nuggets, and Warriors. Or not Warriors. I'm looking at
we're not even have Lakers yet.
We don't have the Lakers, and we don't have the Clippers.
Yeah. So do we have to eliminate your team? Oh no. 8. Who's our?
So we do Clippers, Lakers, I'm just naming teams: Trailblazers, Rockets, Jazz. We should be good.
Okay. All right. So we're at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I'm between Portland and the Jazz.
I'm with you. The thing is, because right now, every other team but the Jazz, it's a 2-headed monster.
Yes.
Going for the thing. But the difference is the Jazz doesn't have a 2-headed monster. It has just a solid-ass team.
Yeah.
Like, to me, they're the Pacers of the West, just better. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have a superstar, but they have Donovan Mitchell and Oladipo are interchangeable to me. Conley's better than Brogdon.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Emmanuel Mundi, too, Jeff Green, Gobert.
Bogdanovich, he's a solid pickup from the Pacers.
Yeah,
I don't even want to put the Trailblazers here though, because I'm not entirely sold on the Rockets either. All they did was
Rockets last year were 3 games. They finished 3 games ahead of the Jazz.
Yep.
The Rockets had to get better.
Yeah, but the Rockets got better getting Westbrook over Chris Paul, but did the Jazz do enough to catch 3 games on them? If you look at the Rockets, they have Westbrook, a top 15 player, Harden, a top 5 player. Capella, top 40 player. Nobody else.
That's an easy range.
Yeah. So you're thinking of lineup of Westbrook, Eric Gordon, Westbrook, Harden, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, and Capella.
And now
and Tucker's probably coming off. Well, they have been starting.
Not so great.
No, they're House solid. Tyson Chandler's a great center to have as a backup. Austin Rivers gave you minutes off the bench. Green, they're decent backups, but nothing compared to the Jazz's lineup.
All right, so let's put. I'm okay putting the Rockets at what we at number 5.
5. And again, though, this goes towards like regular season wise. The Jazz have a better regular season team than the Rockets. The Rockets have a better playoff team than the Jazz because you're only going 7 deep in the playoffs, 8 deep. They have a better 8 than the Jazz.
First, we got to set our playoffs.
Yeah. So I'd say Rockets at 5.
Yeah.
And then Jazz at 4.
Okay. Do we want to talk more about it, or for time's sake, just keep going on?
I was gonna say the main thing. We would take like a minute. The big thing is the Rockets, literally the same team, except Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. And that's exactly, and we'll see how they fit together.
Yeah.
They seem to be fine with it. They seem to be friends and like happy with it, but is it going to gel? I don't know. But
okay, so real quick, Westbrook much better than Chris Paul. Yeah, so you can't get worse.
No, you just got Westbrook has to understand this is Harden's team I'm coming into. Yep. He's got to be okay with Harden doing his ISOs and everything that goes along with James Harden and how he plays both sides of the ball. Yeah. So if he's okay with that and he kind of almost take a step back role and say, all right, I'll chill. Mm-hmm. But I think it's still good having you can have Westbrook cut into the rim, dishing it out. Yeah. Yeah. And more athletic. He's played. It's not like he's never played with another super. Like he's played with Harden before. He's played with. He's played with Paul George. He's played with Durant. Well last year.
Yeah,
they worked well.
He went to 7 games with the Warriors with Durant, so like he can play with a superstar. Mm-hmm. So I'm not too worried. All right, so now we're at the 3 seed. Dude, we are gonna have to cut somebody.
I know. We forgot.
So we just we move Spurs to 7th and drop the Kings. Yeah. So then you can see obviously we're doing this right on the spot. We realized we had 9 teams instead of 7. So we have the Spurs at 7, Spurs at 8, Warriors at 7, Rockets. Wow, this is Rockets at 6, Jazz at 5. I'd say for 4, Trailblazers. Because right now the teams
we have to drop 2. If we're putting Trailblazers up, sorry.
So we have the Blazers, we have Lakers left, we have Clippers, and we have Nuggets. But this is where I think
I think this is a good spot for Lakers at 4.
I think so
because it's okay. We have been talking a lot regular season.
Yeah.
LeBron is older. If they're at the number 4 spot, this is not LeBron of young age where he'll just dominate. He's in the West now.
He's going to have to be playoff LeBron.
Exactly. He's going to take minutes off. I mean, he could even be – the Lakers could be 5 seed somewhere in there. Yeah. I mean, Lakers are old team.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So I'll put Lakers at 4. Yeah. And solely not because of talent-wise, but because, like, load management.
Yeah, load management and it's going to be – I mean, you have that learning curve because you have everyone's new to them, and it's LeBron's team. Yeah. But I love their team come playoff time. Yeah. I mean, you have LeBron James. Like, Danny Green for the Raptors, he was, like, hardly a factor at all except for that one Bucks game. He just destroyed them. Yeah. But versus the Warriors, he wasn't really a factor at all. But he's their starting guard.
But you still have to worry about him. Exactly. Like, he might not have been a factor, but you have to worry about him.
and he can just go off. Excellent shooter. I was hoping Kyle Korver was going to go here, but with Danny Green going there, it kind of shut the door to that. Kuzma, I really love Kuzma. I'm glad they kept him. He's a good young pieces to have. So
LeBron playing that point this year just completely changes everything too. Like you can play Kuzma, LeBron, and Davis at the same time now.
But now, if you look at your point guards of all the teams we looked at, LeBron, Rondo, Quinn Cook.
Quinn Cook.
Those are like 3 halfway solid point guards that you can bring in and then you can move things around. I mean, even getting
Avery Bradley's a big pickup.
Helps on defense so much.
Jared Dudley, he was a key part to the Nets last year. He's a solid defender. He stretches the floor. Quinn Cook stretches the floor. They brought in Giannis' little brother, I think solely because they want to make a run at Giannis in 2021.
But you also have to like the potential.
Yeah.
I mean, his wingspan 7'2".
Yeah.
But he's 6'10", young, and everyone knows like Giannis how
he grew.
He grew so much, and what he can do, I think it's potential. Why not?
Yeah. And I think, like you already said this too, like I think this is Anthony Davis's team until it comes playoff time.
Yeah.
Then it's LeBron's team again. And Cousins, I think this is a better fit for him than the Warriors.
Yeah, because Warriors were so quick.
Yeah.
And this will be a little bit slower game, and Cousins will fit better here.
Yep.
And being healthy, that helps. But Anthony Davis has stuff to prove. Like exactly. LeBron too.
Yeah.
LeBron has to show he's still elite.
Yeah.
Because everyone's not, because they just did the same thing. And NBA executives, who was the top player in the NBA, hands down, easy decision to put Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Well, LeBron's got to show I'm not just old man and I can still compete at high level.
I still like
they have the most to prove this coming season.
Yeah, no, I agree. And but for me, I still think playoff LeBron is the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
I still think he's better than Kawhi.
He got a year off.
He's fresh.
That has to do something for his
This is the first time he's missed the playoffs since his rookie year.
Yeah.
This is the first time not being in the finals in 8 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, that's 20 games he didn't have to play.
Like, come on. That has to do something for his body.
Oh, yeah. He's going to come back fresh. So, all right, so we have the Lakers at 3. Next, or at 4, I mean.
Yeah.
And just because of load management. Next, I had in the same spot as last year, Trailblazers.
Whoa. Okay.
At 3.
I'm excited to see who your number 1 team is.
All right, so I have Trailblazers at 3. Reason being, I just think, again, they're a solid team from last year. They didn't really change much. Like they have Damian Lillard still. They got CJ McCollum. Those two are obviously the leaders of the team. Rodney Hood, he played big minutes for them on a small contract last year, and they got him back, and that's huge for the team. They're both all-stars, or Lillard and McCollum are both all-stars, and then they have that third piece they kept in Rodney Hood. Zach Collins is a nice young player that they're going to keep developing. The more he can stretch the floor, I know he had that playoff game where he stretched it a little bit, but the more he can grow, the better. And the big pickup that they had this offseason, they had a couple of them. They made a couple trades, but the big one was brought in Hassan Whiteside. Not a lot of people were too happy about that one. But with Hassan, he's a strong defensive player. There's all those stats that maybe they're actually better defensively without him. The Heat were. But he changes shots. Like if you go into the lane, you have to think about Hassan Whiteside being there. And they're still waiting for Nurkic to come back. So he had that injury that he's going to have to come back from. So like they're going to get him later on into the season, which is huge. They got Ken Bazemore, who's a great 3-and-D player from the Hawks, which is great for them. And then the big thing is just it's another season for Lillard and McCollum. They're coming off confidence of being in the Western Conference Finals. They didn't get worse. Like they got better with Whiteside. They got Pau Gasol, who's a great veteran, added onto the team. Hazonja, whatever. Like he's not great, but he's a solid player. Like they have a young team who, like, McCollum's 28, Lillard's 29. Like technically these are their prime years.
Yeah, I think they could have been final. Well, maybe not, but I think Lillard needs to take smarter shots, especially coming that playoff time.
Yeah.
it just seemed like their offense was
Yeah.
shoot and pray, but having a guy like Whiteside is going to help a lot. Here's a scenario.
Yep.
Obviously, Cavs are not contenders. They have a guy named Kevin Love.
Get Kevin Love. 100% get Kevin Love.
Okay, so this is going to be mid-season trade. Whiteside, Kevin Love.
You'd have to throw in a couple picks.
Yes.
And you'll probably have to throw in another contract.
Okay, but if we have them ranked as what?
3.
3.
Oh, no, I do it hands down. I'm trying to think of why the Cavs would do it. Because right now, you get Whiteside, the money doesn't match up, so they'd have to throw in another contract. Whiteside's an expiring, Love isn't, so like that's reason to do it alone.
Yeah.
I think that's a great pickup, especially when Nurkic comes back. And then you can put Collins to the bench because he is a young player. Moving him to the bench just sparks your bench a little bit more. I think they need to do that trade.
Yeah, because that's a huge all trades that players who could be traded.
Yeah,
I think they need to see Kevin Love healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to come back, and then he comes back healthy, and now teams are like, "Hey, look at this guy I have for you."
Yeah,
I mean, before Nurkic went out, he was averaged 28 points or 28 minutes a game for them.
Yeah,
terrible 3-point shooter.
Oh yeah,
should not shoot the 3-ball.
He doesn't stretch your floor at all.
Average 10 rebounds a game, 1.5 blocks, 3 assists, and 15.6 points.
Yeah,
that was a lot they lost.
Yeah,
to him. So
I think the team is going to be better next year. Again, It's just the experience makes them better.
Oh yeah. Being so close and getting swept.
Yeah,
you have to come back
pissed off
and ready to show, hey,
and
we're still good. We can still do this.
You can't forget about losing Steph Curry. That's big.
Yeah.
But I think Ken Bazemore, does just as much.
Yeah.
He won't maybe not provide as big of a spark, but I just think bringing him in does enough for your team that it's not that big of a deal losing him.
Yeah.
I like you said, I think they're a Kevin Love away from actually contending for the title.
I know I say this, but Iguodala, I would love on this team.
Yeah.
I would love.
And you know where I stand. I think Iguodala is a great player. He's a great veteran. I just think now he's become overrated.
He's a missing piece to a championship contender.
Yeah.
Not with the Lakers. He would be, but a Blazer.
Yeah.
Or even a Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
You have to love him coming off the bench. Warriors won so many games because of the little things Iguodala did.
Yeah.
At the end of the games.
Yeah.
Iguodala. I mean, that was just last season.
Yeah.
He needs to be surrounded by other guys. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything for the Grizzlies this year.
He's a piece of the puzzle.
He is a huge key piece that I think fits perfectly Portland or Jazz.
Yeah. So
if he becomes available and they get him, I'm loving Portland's chances next year.
Him going to the Rockets would be another good team too.
Or the Rockets.
I think he goes to Lakers just because he has ties. Yeah, he has ties to their GM.
Does he fit in with the Lakers team?
Solid bench. He'd have to be a 2 off the bench, or Danny Green would have to come off the bench, but I don't think either of them would. Or Kuzma off the bench. But that takes away shooting and offense from your starting unit.
I don't know.
But there's so much we put a lot of focus on starting unit, but with the NBA there's so many packages and lineups that it really doesn't matter.
I mean, injuries to it. I mean, this could all change.
Especially with the load management team the Lakers. Speaking of load management, brings me to my number 2 team. I have the Clippers at number 2.
All
Is that what you had too?
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah. So no, I have Clippers at number 2. Obviously, they're the most improved team of the offseason. They went from the 8th seed. They made the biggest trade in NBA history to get Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard orchestrated this trade.
Yeah. Kawhi Leonard made the biggest trade in NBA history to get Paul George. 5 first round picks, right? And 2 pick spots, or 4 first round? Yeah. They gave up SGA, which is insane to me.
And Gallinari. Gallinari was expiring though.
Yeah. And you look at which makes him more valuable, but you look at their lineup: Beverly, one of the best defenders.
Yeah.
Paul George, one of the best defenders. Kawhi Leonard, the best defender. They got Harrell. They got Zubac.
Harrell is no joke defending too. I just looked at that and I'm like, come playoff time, they're gonna be a hard team to score on.
Yeah.
But now comes what makes me nervous at playing number 2 is injuries.
Exactly.
With
Paul George, shoulder injury.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard, leg injury.
Well, he can still fight through it, but for how long?
But these are going to be two. The reason they're number 2, and I'm assuming you're the same, is load management during the season. If they were healthy and played 82 games, they're for sure number 1.
Yeah.
Unless, okay, so here's a question. Totally hypothetical. Lakers team, everyone plays 82 games. Clippers team, everyone plays 82 games. Who do you pick?
Oh, my gosh. How about playoffs series? I'll counter here.
All right.
Okay, playoff series, 7-game series.
7-game series.
Everyone's healthy with their lineups right now.
Yep.
They're going all out.
Yep.
I have to give it to LeBron.
Yeah, so do I.
I mean, it seems the depth is, I don't know depth, but
they have quote unquote LeBron stoppers, but they don't have an Anthony Davis stopper.
No. And I think that's huge. And I think the Clippers, but then also look at Lakers defense. Are you really stopping?
LeBron can not stop Leonard, but he can slow down Leonard.
Yeah.
What I heard, which would be crazy interesting, is if the Clippers get Iguodala, because then you have Beverly, Iguodala, George, Kawhi, and whoever. That's literally Iguodala, Leonard, and George can go on LeBron. You can fill 48 minutes with one of those 3 on LeBron and completely not eliminate him. You can never eliminate LeBron, but you can drastically affect the game.
It would literally take the Lakers bench, like it would be like the Rockets of last year, their bench just providing.
Yeah.
But you're also betting a lot that the Clippers starters can do a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it's kind of a toss-up, but I don't know if Lakers can guard Paul George and Kawhi, because Beverly does not scare me offensively. Harrell does not scare me offensively.
Yeah.
So now you are counting on Paul George and Kawhi Leonard being able to do everything.
Yeah.
Offensively.
Yeah.
So if you can stop one of those guys, then Lakers win.
Yeah. So I think Western Conference Finals right now, I still have Lakers. Actually, it doesn't work like that. If we have them at 2, Lakers at 4, so they'll match up 4-5, 1-8. There might be a world where they don't meet in the Western Conference Finals.
No, one would have to go probably eliminated earlier.
Yeah.
Or they'll face each other before.
Yeah.
So it won't be a Western Conference. If it's in how we have it set, they won't meet.
Yeah.
In the finals.
No, unless there's an upset.
Yeah.
All right, so here's my last question before we move on to our number 1 team, just for the sake of time. Was that trade worth it? All that stuff they gave up for it? The 5 first-round picks, SGA, and 2 pick swaps?
If you win a championship, you don't care.
Exactly. They don't win the championship.
No. If Paul George gets hurt or after these 2 years, because it's literally you have a 2-year time frame, because Kawhi Leonard
only signed a 2-year deal, a 3-year with a player option.
Yep. If he is not happy in these 2 years, you have a 2-year window.
Mm-hmm.
With the West being so good, you have to go through so many teams in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
East, I would give it to them every time.
Yeah.
If Clippers were in the East, I'd say best deal ever.
Yeah.
Because they would run through the East.
Yeah.
They'd rest, and then they'll just have to beat a worn-down West team. Because that's who it's going to be. That's why I think Bucks can win it next year. Because they'll fly through the East.
Mm-hmm.
They should be fresher.
Yeah.
And there's going to be less injuries.
Yeah.
I think. But you have a 2-year window.
Yep.
Paul George has to stay healthy.
Yep.
Kawhi's legs got to hold up because they were falling off in those playoffs. I don't know how he made it through.
I don't know.
Because it seemed all reports were like players like, hey, are you good? Are you going to play? Like they didn't even know from day to day if he was going to play or how he was doing. His legs were shot in the playoffs. I respect him so much, but I don't think Kawhi is going to be the same as Kawhi in the playoffs. Yeah,
no, I'm with you. And right now I'm just thinking of this lineup of Beverly, Williams, Leonard, or George and Leonard, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Those 4 can score. Not 4, but Williams, Leonard, and George can score anytime they want.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. It'll be tough for LeBron to stop. I still think LeBron, like I said already, playoff LeBron's the best in the world.
Yeah, 7-game series, I give it to Lakers,
Yeah. All right, so this brings us to our number 1 team. It was the number 2 team last year. I think the West teams got a lot better, but the teams that got a lot better are going to be load management teams. The Nuggets, they were the number 2 team last year. They kept their team intact. They kept Paul Millsap. They picked up his team option for $30 million, which I actually did not see coming. But that's a good pickup for him. He's a solid veteran. That also makes him a trade piece because it's an expiring contract, so someone could easily pick him up. They got Jeremy Grant, who last season shot 39% from 3, so that's going to clear the lane for Jokic. They got Jamal Murray. They just signed to a contract. Gary Harris. They got Will Barton. They got a really good team. Malik Beasley still out, coming off the bench. Like
solid team. I mean, they're good. Their shots are pretty. It's a team effort there. They got a team effort. And what is kind of cool is they still got that kid, Michael Porter Jr.
That's what I was just going to say. That's the X factor.
And we don't know how healthy he is yet, but he was on teams were very high on last year. Out his entire rookie season.
Yep.
He could come back and change that whole team.
Yep.
I mean, they were the number 2 team without him. So if he comes back and flops, you're okay.
You're still good.
You are still good because you have a guy named Jokic.
Yeah.
And there's not many teams that can stop that man.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Because that's the thing. They'll try to stop him offensively, but he passes. He can shoot. He'll stretch the floor. They got. They're so good.
Guy was your leading. I mean, he led the team in everything but blocks, which is a little surprising.
Yeah, which is weird.
But I mean, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists.
Yeah.
1.4 steals, and then I guess
he was 0.2 blocks away from leading it.
Yeah, he doesn't like to block. So.
But Jamal Murray too, though, he had that solid game. Last year he was inconsistent, but that's his second year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's coming to his 3rd year in the NBA, coming out of 1 game away from the Western Conference Finals. Like he's good, and he just signed a contract, which it makes me nervous because when people sign contracts, sometimes they rest a little bit more because they don't have to worry about it. But he's really good. He's a talented young player. The only thing that makes me nervous is you sign him to such a huge contract, and he's only 22 years old. But that means if he does pan out, you have him for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
And Gary Harris only played 57 games for him last year.
Yep.
So that'll go up a little bit. That's why I think that puts him number 1. I think just keeping all these teams at the top besides the Trailblazers are like brand new.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah.
Kawhi and Paul are going to have to learn to play together.
Yeah.
Where these guys, they know how to do it. They've done it, and now it just – and they know they should not have lost to the Trailblazers.
No.
They know that.
Yeah.
I think they would have whooped on Golden State.
I think that would have been a challenge for him.
I think
no one would have been able to guard Jokic.
No. And they would just give Jokic, and he would just destroy them.
Yeah. It's tough. Like you said, a lot of the other teams changed. This team didn't.
Yeah.
And just like the other teams you mentioned, like the younger players with the experience, gaining that is huge. I'm trying to think of the team right now. Like the Jazz got playoff experience. Trailblazers, the playoff experience. Like that stuff right there is ridiculously valuable. So Jamal Murray is naturally going to take a step up because he experienced that pressure already and knows what it takes to get there. Beasley, again, nice young player who's just only going to get better. I don't know. I just think they get Michael Porter Jr. And they get Jeremy Grant. Like those are 2 key pieces to a team that was already 1 game away.
Yeah.
So you add those 2 players to the 7-game series last year, they would have won.
Exactly. They'll hit the floor running next year. I think in the West. I mean, when you look at the teams, it's hard to find a big guy like Jokic.
There's no one like him.
And that's the key for them is how do you guard him?
Yeah.
You can't really stop him because if you look at the top teams, in the West.
Yeah.
Just from last year, Warriors aren't stopping them.
Nope.
Trailblazers with Whiteside got close.
Yeah, and Nurkic is still – he's a talented center.
Yeah. So, okay, besides them, I don't think Capella can keep up with him.
No.
Capella doesn't.
He's too big. Gobert.
Gobert, yeah,
He can.
he's solid.
He won't match him offensively, but he can try. He can guard him defensively.
Aldridge for the Spurs isn't going to do it. I
No.
mean, he's good. I don't think Harrell is that good.
Zubac they got, but he won't do it either.
Yeah, not compared to what the level of Jokic can do. And so that's going to be huge, and they'll just slow the game down.
Yeah.
Why run it when you have that big offensive dude right there in the middle? Lakers with DeMarcus Cousins made that if the game is slow.
I would put, and even Anthony Davis would guard him, I think, a little bit too because he's a little more athletic.
Yeah.
But if they put Davis at the center, there's no way Jokic can keep up with Davis.
No.
I don't think they'd stop Jokic, but I don't think it's a good matchup for him.
No. And then having those young guards, quick young guards, that's a good thing to have. That's gonna be
good against the Lakers. The quickness is gonna be the Lakers' downfall because like LeBron's playing point, Danny Green can't guard anybody.
No,
like that. So
that's what you're gonna have to bring in Avery Bradley for sure.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so then we have our 8. It took much long, not much. It probably did take much longer than the East, but there's just so much more in the West.
You have to that's where almost all the best players are in the NBA.
Besides Giannis.
Yeah.
So we got Spurs 8, Warriors 7, Rockets 5, looking at it wrong. Warriors 8. Sorry, I can't talk. Spurs 8, Warriors 7, Rockets 6, Jazz 5, Lakers 4, Trailblazers 3, Clippers 2, Nuggets 1.
All right, so we have to answer the question.
Yeah.
Who emerges as the top dog in the West?
I have to go, and this is again. It comes down to Lakers and Clippers, and this is assuming everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
Lakers, Clippers. It's just one thing that makes me nervous. George has been in 7-game series in the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron before. Kawhi's won the finals before. LeBron's won the finals. Anthony Davis hasn't done anything close.
Yeah.
So, like, experience-wise, it makes me want to pick the Clippers, but it's hard to go against LeBron. And only because playoff LeBron, I'm going to pick the Lakers.
So, Lakers emerge.
I think Lakers. I think Lakers, Bucks, finals.
I kind of in between the Jazz and Lakers because Jazz are just, I think.
So deep.
Or, no, not Jazz. Sorry. Nuggets.
Yeah, and I
kind of like the Nuggets. I know it's a little bit out there, but
honestly, but the thing with the West is it's opposite of the East.
Yeah.
Like if you would tell me anywhere from the number 1 seed to the number 6 seed, Nuggets, Clippers, Blazers, Lakers, Jazz, or Rockets made it to the finals, I wouldn't be surprised.
Except for Rockets.
But it all depends on Westbrook and Harden.
Yeah, I don't think they're making finals though. That would surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I think they're missing something. But if Lakers get a guy like maybe Carmelo or Shumpert.
Not Carmelo.
But it adds something.
It adds something.
Offensively.
He'd have to be okay being like a 10-minute a game person. Yeah. Like he wouldn't get more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, you knew he had to throw out that Carmelo.
He knowing the Lakers and LeBron, he'll probably go there because LeBron always has his guys back. But no, I think it's going to be a good season. My favorite thing right now is there's no trios, there's no super teams.
No.
Like
they'll say super teams, but it's
nothing compared to the Warriors.
No, it's all duos.
Yeah, if you considered the Warriors a super team, you can't consider the Clippers.
No, not at all. The Warriors were the ultimate super team. Yeah. Everyone is a two-headed monster.
And if you think about like what's the difference between the Clippers now and Westbrook and Durant?
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Nothing, yeah.
It's just the team's full of, like you just said, Batman and Robins.
Yeah.
Except they're pretty much damn near Batman and Batmans at this point.
Yeah. But I'm giving – just because, like, whoever comes out of the West, it's going to be a tough road.
Yep.
You're going to get beat up. A lot of these games are going to more than 4 games series.
Yeah. I don't see any sweeps.
I am confident that the Bucks win the NBA Finals next year.
Oh, I fucking hope so.
Because
I'm getting a Bucks tattoo on my fucking face if that happens.
Because their first 2 rounds, okay?
Yeah.
We kind of had, Pistons at number 8?
Yep.
That's a sweep.
Yep.
Okay. And then you get another team in there. except for injuries. If there's an injury to Giannis, then obviously everything.
And even Middleton, I think, is the key to that too.
Too.
So yeah, they beat the Pistons.
Yeah.
The next team they would face would be either the way we have it would be the 76ers Raptors. They beat them.
Yeah.
And the team after that either is going to be the Pacers or Celtics. Has how we have it, and I think
that'd be tougher game, but
we beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
The Pacers will be tough, but we beat the Celtics.
What they did this year, I think they still emerge. I think it's because they'll have an easier path, be more rested.
Yeah.
And I think coaching-wise and depth, like they're a big shooting team.
Yeah.
The West, it'd be interesting to see like Denver Bucks. That would be a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Or even Portland with their two guards.
Yeah.
Could they guard them?
Yeah.
Clippers, I think, would be a matchup nightmare for the Bucks again.
Yeah. Kawhi's just a fucking monster.
Yeah. So, but I still like Bucks at this point.
Yeah, no, for sure. So do I, mainly because I'm a fan. All right, so I don't even know how long this has been, probably hour and a half, hour 20. But thanks, Trixie Dixie, for letting us come over to the house and podcast. It's a nice house, dude. So right now we covered covered the East last week, West this week. Our next podcast, I'm thinking we start the NBA. What? And I was gonna say that I meant to say NFL, but I said NBA.
Yeah.
NFL divisions.
Yeah, the greatest sports season ever.
Yeah, the greatest sports season. Yeah.
The summer I love the summer because we teach and we get a break.
Yeah.
But it is so dull for sports.
It fucking sucks. I hate baseball.
Baseball sucks.
I don't know. Is golf playing right now? Do they play golf right now?
They always play golf.
Golf can eat a dick. I don't care about any of this shit.
So NFL, I am so excited.
So we'll probably either do a division breakdown. Well, before the season starts, we'll for sure do the division breakdown. But we'll have some fantasy ones coming out. You want to try to do like once a week fantasy ones?
Yeah, for sure.
Get that stuff out to you guys. We had 14 listeners last week. Look at us, pretty much Matt Berry. Move over, Bill Simmons, you son of a bitch. All right.
Flat top spot. Vote for us for People's Awards.
You said flat top? What?
I said what? Go for that top spot.
I could have swore you said flat top. All right, Rixe has a flat top.
I wish.
All right, see you guys.